Welcome to the Every Temple podcast. My name is Tony, and this is my co-host Janelle.
Hello.
Together, we want to talk about every temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Thank you for joining us. Elder Stevenson said, "You are never lost when you can see the temple. The temple will provide direction for you and your family in a world filled with chaos. It is an eternal guidepost which will help you from getting lost in the mist of darkness." So, welcome, Janelle. Today, we're supposed to talk about the Washington D.C. temple.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting.
This is a nice one. They all are nice.
They're nice, but this is like a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
It's a real big deal.
Yeah.
For temple news, we've got the Auckland, New Zealand temple is going to be dedicated this weekend by Elder Kieran.
Okay.
And we've talked about it a few times, but it's got like very nice botanical and Maori decorations. Themes.
And this will be the first one he has dedicated.
Oh.
I'm guessing.
I have no idea.
He's a new apostle, right?
He is pretty new. I feel like he's maybe done one, but I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe not.
I bet you he's nervous.
You're thinking of him at this time.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah, the Auckland temple is just a little bit north of the one we've already talked about, Hamilton. So it's the second one in New Zealand.
Okay. And there's another one coming.
Isn't
there? Yeah.
There's another one coming. And we just got tickets for the Syracuse Temple Open House, Syracuse, Utah.
Cool.
Temple Open House in May.
I'm excited.
Yeah. We're going to get to go together.
But then we won't get to talk about it for a really long time.
No. We could record something, though. I don't know. Anyway, we're excited to go see that. I haven't been to an open house in a long time. Probably since... Did I go to Saratoga? Yes, I did go to Saratoga.
Okay.
Anyway. Cool. Okay. So let's jump into today's temple, the Washington, D.C. temple. Got the land for this temple in 1962, several years before they announced that there would be a temple there. But there's a little story about how they got the land. Do you know this?
I read a few things. So what do you got?
So Brother Robert Barker.
Okay.
Not Bob Barker, but Robert.
Could have gone by Bob.
He could have. It was his job to buy this great piece of land. It's 10 miles north of D.C. in Maryland. And everyone thought it was the best location. It was owned and was being sold by a group of investors that had told him no repeatedly. And he was just like in despair about this. They were going to use it for development of homes and commercial, just like regular development. And he was just like so in despair about it because he knew the temple was going to be there. And so his wife was like, "Can you just tell them what a temple is and how important it is? And maybe that will convince them." And so he called one of the guys that was in charge of selling it. And they sat down for lunch. And he said, "If you just have this lunch with me, I'll never bother you again." Okay. Hail Mary pass. And he sat down with this guy and he talked about what temples are used for and how important they are. And this other man was Jewish. And he kind of connected the Jewish temple experience to what we're trying to do. And the man's changed his mind. Within 2 hours, they called him and said, "Okay, we align with your values and what you want to do with it," because they were all like Zionist Jewish people. They were like, that is a better...
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So even 3 days later, it would have been gone.
Yeah.
But he had done that lunch with the guy and told him about temples, and it gave him the land, 52 acres.
And they got it at a discounted price.
Do you have the price?
I don't know what the price is, but...
like 850,000.
Okay. I don't know, but I just know they discounted it for him because they connected over the religious significance.
Yes.
So I just love how God works. I love how God works. It's like, nope, 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 nope. And you pray and you're like, what if this? And you try your best. And then all of a sudden he like
opens the doors.
Yes. Yeah. He does Hail Marys a lot.
Tests our faith.
Yeah.
He gives us reasons to believe.
Yeah.
So the land was in 1962, but the temple there wasn't announced until November 1968 by President McKay. And they had a board of architects at this time.
Yep.
So
I think they all kind of submitted.
They all submitted designs. And I've given a lot of credit to Emil Fetzer. I thought he designed all of these temples, but no.
Okay.
The main architect on this one was a man named Keith Wilcox.
Okay.
He sat down and, they had all kind of submitted their concepts, and somebody teased him that he hadn't submitted his yet. And they kept getting, like, talkings to from Hugh B. Brown and the first presidency, they're like, this is a really important building. This is going to be a missionary tool. This is going to be a status changer for the church. And the inspiration that came to him in the single form, the form of a single word, enlightenment. Unaware of the time, Wilcox worked through the night, recalling that ideas seemed to flow out of my fingertips without effort, visualizing the building's appearance even before drawing it. I began to feel a great surge of the spirit and a creative desire. It was a glorious feeling. I felt as if I were being lifted up. My mental faculties sharpened. I lost awareness of where I was. Truly, I felt full of enlightenment. So,
well, the temple is enlightened. There's a lot about light with the temple.
That's true.
Like this particular temple. So
yeah.
There, I think that we don't realize how much inspiration goes behind so many working parts of the temple to get it to be what it is in the end. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so they all worked on it after that, but that was the one that was chosen. It's kind of an oval shape. There's no windows again, except for on the ends, there's just amazing stained glass panels.
Right.
And I didn't even know about these.
Okay.
Until I read about this. But these stained glass, it starts with like reds and oranges, and then it fades up to blues and purples, and then fades to white at the very top.
And it seems like there's staircases built like
next
to them
from inside.
Yeah, and the lighting comes in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we have some pictures of that on the Instagram.
They're really pretty. I have a new appreciation for stained glass.
Yeah.
I did a little stained glass tulip.
That's right. You just did this.
Yep. And it took me like 2.5 hours. And I'm like, and I saw what they were working on at the studio. And I'm like, wow, this is a lot of work and planning. And
yes.
Yeah. I always loved stained glass, but I just have a new appreciation for it.
Because you've done it. Yeah. We can talk about more of this later during the renovation, but it's 18,500 pieces of glass.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a lot of pieces.
Yeah.
Yep. But because there's no windows, people think it's very dark inside, but actually this is made of marble, and they've cut the marble to, in some places, a little more than half an inch.
Yes.
And so light can actually penetrate it.
Yeah, they've shaved the marble. So it's when you see pictures on the inside, the lighting is very beautiful. And even, let's see, I think it was when Elder Bednar was taking them through for the renovation.
Yeah.
Where do I have this? There we go. He observed that there were no shadows in the temple. During a media tour, he noticed that the media crew was amazed by the lighting, and that extra lighting tools for photos were unnecessary due to the building's carefully balanced lighting.
Right.
And when you see the pictures, you can just tell that this is a very well lit temple, like natural lighting, other lighting, like it's just really nice.
They planned it very well.
Yeah.
And when you think about like the lighting that goes into making, like from the smallest YouTube video to the biggest movie, like the lighting, the tools that they use.
Yes.
They didn't have to use any of that as they walked around and took pictures and videos of the temple.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
That's really neat.
Multiple light sources. I think that's the...
And so, and it's like, I was like, because when you look at the temple, you don't see windows.
Right.
But somehow the light is getting through. I wonder where they've shaved, where on the temple is shaved to half an inch thing.
And also like where inside they didn't build like an interior.
Oh, yeah, so that the light could penetrate.
Yes, that's bizarre.
Okay.
Now we got to go.
And find out.
We got to go find out. We got to get a real good tour. The other thing that they kept talking about, the bridge, and President Kimball did a news conference on the bridge of the temple, and I was like, what bridge? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
So if you look at the pictures, you see the entrance. But the entrance is just like a separate building.
Okay.
You walk through, and then there's a long hallway that's actually a bridge, and it has windows on both sides.
Right.
And that's the bridge. And then you get to, I think, the recommend desk, or maybe the recommend desk is before that. Anyway, you can there is light there because it's windows on both sides.
Yeah.
But
and there are pictures of that.
And I didn't realize that even existed.
Oh, why did they build it like that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, it was supposed to separate you from the world as you walk
through. They just purposely did that. Okay.
To walk away from the world. Also, separation from the world. They had 52 acres of land, but they only developed or cleared 11 acres for the temple.
Right.
To keep this like insulation of trees, and there's tons of trees around the temple, and it looks beautiful.
So if you look it up, they'll have, actually on the visitor center website. It's a fantastic website.
Yeah.
And they have videos and they have like drone footage, like you can see above. And I'm like, there are lots of trees there. And I've never been there. I forget that trees can grow.
Yes. Trees can just grow, and it's crazy.
One of the things that when we moved here to Utah, I'm like, what is so different about it here? And I finally figured it out. There aren't any trees.
Yeah, there's no accidental trees in Utah. Yes. Any tree is very purposeful.
So there are tons of trees on the property. It's really beautiful, contrasting.
Yeah, just getting away from the city especially. Yeah. It is visible from the Washington Monument. Okay. If you go up the Washington Monument and you look out the north windows, you can see a lot of green and a little dot of white.
Yeah.
Okay. I did that as a high schooler, but
okay, that's fine.
Like, that's not really as dramatic as I was hoping, but there it is.
So it is dramatic if this is what everybody talks about. If you're going on the Capitol Beltway,
yes,
in Kensington, Maryland, you're going along, and then all of a sudden you turn the corner and there it is. And that's what everybody comments on. There's green trees around it. It's a big structure. And they actually, when they were like putting it in, like figuring out where to place it, they like moved it like maybe forward 60 feet to make sure that they got full effect.
That the Beltway would see it. Well, the Beltway wasn't built yet. And so once they knew where that road was going to go, then they moved the temple to line up.
Okay. See, yeah, they purposely did that to get the full effect.
Yeah, Brother Wilcox, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And so there's been some graffiti on that Beltway about this temple. Yeah. First it said surrender Dorothy. Because they call the temple Oz. If we're talking temple nicknames, they call it Oz.
Yes.
Although it's not green, but the trees are green. And then more recently it said surrender Donald. But
so how that started, I think that like in the 70s, there was a school or something doing the Wizard of Oz play. And so there are some kids who were advertising, I guess, for this play. But then it kind of stuck
in the
area for the temple. And like it's a loving reference.
Yeah,
like,
I think people like.
Yeah, they're not making fun of it. But anyway, so every so often, like the graffiti will show up, and they'll get rid of it, and it'll show up again.
Yeah, it's one of those things that is eternal.
Yeah, and so they do refer to it as Oz, right?
Yeah. Yeah. On the temple is a unique door with 8 bronze medallions symbolizing creation, mortality, and the degrees of glory. And these are by sculptor Franz Johansson, a member of the church. Big Dipper and North Star are the planets, the earth, the moon, the stars, the sun. And concentric circles represent eternity, and 7 concentric pentagons representing the 7 dispensations.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, did you say the Big Dipper and the North Star?
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, I want to see that because that's like the Salt Lake Temple.
Yeah, it's kind of a callback to the Salt Lake Temple.
So a lot of it is like, because they've got the 6 spires, which they did that on purpose because of the Salt Lake Temple. And then, the Big Dipper and North Star, I wonder where those are placed.
They're on a door. So
it's all on the doors.
It's all on one door. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they did put a Moroni on this temple. Mm-hmm. And at this point, only 3 temples have Moronis.
Okay. Because they put a lot of them on later.
They put them on a lot later, yeah. So Salt Lake, LA, and D.C. have Moronis. Is that right? Yeah. So it's very unique. And this one was designed by Avard Fairbanks, who's one of our favorite sculptors.
Yep.
And it's very big. and he's holding scriptures. It's 18 feet tall and 2 tons because it was cast in bronze, plated in gold. It's very heavy. And that puts the very top of the tallest steeple 288 feet in the air, which is the tallest temple. Tallest one. Did it.
They did it,
guys.
I don't think they're going to top that. No, they don't.
So I read another story about during construction.
Okay.
A German shepherd showed up and they couldn't get rid of him, so they just adopted him.
Okay.
Construction workers.
Okay.
And they named him Zacharias because he's at the temple. And he would just keep track of everything. And one time he led a security guard over to an office that was on fire from some welding equipment. I think it was not in the temple, it was offsite. But yeah. And he's just like a little angel. Zacharias,
that's
German
super
shepherd.
Cute.
Yeah. I hope that's a true story.
I know. Sometimes we read these things, we're like, okay.
It's nice if it's true. That's the great thing about podcasts, right?
Yeah. Going back to the marble.
Yes.
It's white Alabama marble, and they had enough marble to cover 3.5 football fields.
Whoa.
That's how much marble they used.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of marble.
Yeah, and I'm assuming for the exterior. Yeah. That's what I was reading. That's a lot of marble on the outside of that temple.
And the thing about it being translucent kind of reminds me of the stones of the brother Jared.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's neat.
May or may not. People may or may not agree with that.
Yeah. But
some other firsts about this temple are that it was the first in the eastern United States.
Yes.
And it was a big deal. Think about that temple district. Everywhere.
Even in Canada.
Yeah, even eastern Canada and the eastern, South America.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it was a big deal.
They asked the members to raise $4.5 million to help pay for it. And people were on it immediately. They were like, yep, we got it. Even from Mississippi, which is still 3 days from the temple at that time.
I know, right?
They were still donating.
Yeah. I mean, it's 3 days or it's
3 days the other way.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So they ended up donating more than $4.5 million, but that was the goal.
Yeah.
And then before they finished construction, they were like, we're going to need a visitor center because it's drawing so much attention.
Yes.
So they used a little bit of the extra money that people donated to start on the visitor center.
Cool.
Yeah. What else do you have?
Well, I have more about the open house if you're ready for that. So it was a really big deal. And they had Spencer W Kimball did a press conference, and it was the largest press conference in church's history. That's it seems like currently even. It was I don't know, it says the largest press conference in the church's history.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it still is.
I don't know. Depends on when that was written, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. So that was for the time capsule, for the placement of the time capsule.
Yes.
Anyway, and so because it's in Washington D.C, they had a lot of
political people influence. I was going to say influencers, political influencers in the 70s.
I know. So they had a lot of people coming through from government and stuff. They did give an invitation to the President of the United States, and he couldn't come, but his wife, Betty Ford, did. And she said, this is a really, truly great experience for me. And I think the temple is one of great beauty and a great addition to our surroundings here in Washington. It's really an inspiration to all of us. I don't know when I have enjoyed anything quite so much. This is something that is, in my mind, a wonderful creation of 6 years, because it took 6 years to build. Yeah. So
very sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I read an article that the topic was the church really amped up their PR public relations in this time period. Okay. Harold B. Lee was the prophet before Spencer W. Kimball, and he hired the best public relations people he could get. Okay. And so when this was open, they were really going full bore, and they They sent a whole week just for dignitaries.
Yeah.
The open house was just, and that kind of reminded me of, they did that in Salt Lake too. Before they even did open houses, they said, we're going to do a week of personalized tours for bigwigs.
Yeah.
But so they did that, and then the press conference as well. And it was just such a big deal.
So they had like, how many visitors did they have? Like 700,000?
50,000.
750,000.
Which was the biggest.
Which is the biggest. And I compared that to Los Angeles, which was like 600 and something thousand.
Yeah. So over 100,000 more.
Yeah.
Than Los Angeles, which was the biggest previously.
I am sure this is the biggest one.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll see if the new Salt Lake one can get more than that. But
this is 7 weeks.
Yeah, and the new one's going to be 6 months.
Yeah, so that kind of depends like how it works. But 7 weeks is
that's a
pretty long for them.
Yeah, and it was a great missionary tool. They got over 75,000 missionary referrals from it. Yeah,
they were busy.
Yeah.
They were definitely busy.
And then, so the other thing was the open house is almost canceled because the fire marshal required them to have an emergency backup generator,
which they didn't have.
And so Harold Rehnquist, he was a local member, an Army reservist. He spent 8 hours the day before the event using his military connections to locate a generator, which he did, and they installed it 25 minutes before the open house.
Like faith, right? Like,
yes,
we're not going to cancel. It's going to happen.
Yes, and that resulted in more tickets to more colonels and generals to come. And
he had made a lot of promises in order to get that generator.
Yeah, I know the faith and then the work required to just get it done, and they got more people there to see it.
And that would have been before the open house for the dignitaries. Like, that would have been the first week.
Right. Yeah.
So you can't cancel that one.
No.
Betty Ford's coming.
Yeah.
She was cute, though. She said she wanted a picture with President Kimball.
Aww.
And he's just a little guy.
And so cute.
I wanted to do a little bit of prophet history because I like that part because I don't know this much about prophet history.
Okay.
So we had President McKay. He passed away in his 90s. Mm-hmm. He was succeeded by Joseph Fielding Smith, who was in his 90s. He was prophet for 2 years and passed away. Succeeded by Harold B. Lee, who was in his 70s. Very young, relatively. Unfortunately, he died very suddenly after a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he was replaced by President Kimball, who was not the picture of health, even at this point. But he was also in his 70s. But he had just his body was going through the ringer all the time throughout his life. So he was not quite very healthy. But at this point, he's doing okay.
Yeah. How long was he the prophet for? Do you know?
Kimball?
Yeah.
For the last several years, he was like unable to do much.
Right. He's like the prophet of my childhood. Oh, and I remember him not really being able to do a lot.
Yeah. So that's when they called third counselor Gordon B. Hinckley to help run things, because his counselors were also very old and very sick.
Okay.
And so it became kind of President Hinckley does a lot. And we'll see that as he starts dedicating temples.
Yeah.
Very soon and throughout the rest of his life.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just my little church history moment.
Oh. Awesome.
Okay, let me read this from the dedication. Are we there? It was dedicated November 19th through the 22nd, 1974 by Spencer W Kimball. And sidebar, new prophet, new dedicatory prayer style. He uses a lot more scriptures and scripture references in his talk, in his prayer. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. He said, Father, we are concerned with the political world of today, and the nations seem to need only the lighting of a match to bring war and desolation and destruction. Bless, we pray thee, the leaders of nations, that they may rule wisely and righteously, and give the people freedom to worship thee in truth and righteousness. Stay the powers, our Father, that would bring us to the brink of annihilation. So this is 1974, very Cold War.
Oh, I guess so, yeah.
And they always include a paragraph about we're grateful for the freedoms of this nation and the Constitution and everything. So that is in basically every prayer.
Okay.
I just don't share it because it's in every prayer.
Okay. But it kind of hits harder when it's in the nation's capital.
No, but this is a separate thing where he's like, everything's like this is to the whole world.
Yeah.
Leaders of all the nations need to calm down and be wise and righteous.
Well, and I think that's a reminder, like I think always we're feeling like we're in this political thing where we're on the brink of annihilation.
Yes. Yeah.
They felt it back there then. Mm-hmm. We're feeling it now.
Yes.
We're probably going to survive.
Probably. Odds are good. I read a book about the summer of 1927. Okay. And it had all the same problems that we have now. And it was just like, okay, so this is just normal.
Okay. So, just let's calm down.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to survive.
Have some faith.
Yep.
Just trust.
Yep.
Okay, so at the dedication, or after the dedication, things were opened?
Yeah. Well, I don't know at what time they were doing this, but it just says for a time, the Washington D.C. temple offered overnight endowment sessions from Friday to Saturday to accommodate the many members who came on weekends.
Great.
So another temple that did overnight endowment sessions.
I think that's great. Messaged a friend who lives in Maryland right now.
Nice.
And she's very busy. She has 8 kids. So I'm like, I'm sure you don't get to go very often. That's not what I'm asking. But I'm just asking, like, what's the vibe? Like, how do people react to the temple? And she talked about the surrender and, like, people are pretty positive.
Yeah.
And her friend went to the open house and everything. It's not open very often for her. Like, the times she's available to go to the temple, it is not open. Oh. Which is unfortunate. But her point was, it's such a big temple and it would require so many workers to have it open that kind of limits it.
Makes sense. Yeah.
It is a balance because it's like the number of temples in your area versus the number of patrons interested in going to the temple in your area versus the number of workers available and interested in working in that temple. So it's a balance.
Wow. All those things and like with LA, they're starting to build more temples everywhere. So not as many people are coming. And it is hard to staff a huge temple like that. I
wonder if they could just close off some of it.
Yeah.
Just to be like, we have one session available. I'm sure they do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never gotten that far into the making a fake appointment for each temple to know when it's actually open.
Okay.
I feel bad doing that for some reason. That's just me.
You just want to look.
I know. I just wish it was easier.
Okay.
In this area, in Virginia, well, I'm just limited it to Virginia and Pennsylvania. So in Virginia, they have the Richmond, Virginia temple. And then 3 temples are announced: Winchester, Roanoke, and Norfolk. And I don't think they've started construction on any of those. In Pennsylvania, to the north, there are temples operating in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and then one is announced in Harrisburg.
Okay.
And this temple district currently includes 23 stakes in 5 different states. Because they got to pick them all up. Yeah. And then do we want to talk about the renovation?
I have a little bit about the renovation.
Okay. So in 2018, they closed it for a renovation. They didn't do much structural, visibly not much changed.
Right.
Except the inside used to be kind of pink, and now it's not.
Okay.
They changed it from a pink motif to a yellow, gold, green.
So in 2011, there was a little bit of an earthquake.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. You remember
No, I remember reading about it.
Okay. It was a 5.9 magnitude, and so it sustained a little bit of damage to the exterior, but not too much.
I think some of the steeples fell off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's scary.
That is scary.
What if you were standing?
And honestly, I should have gone back and looked at about what happened in the summer of 2011 in Washington D.C. because I see those things as signs, but maybe I shouldn't.
So I don't think necessarily that this renovation was because of this, but I'm sure that they just updated systems, earthquake stuff. Anyway.
And those steeples got fixed the next month.
Yeah.
Everything got fixed.
Yeah. It wasn't too bad.
No.
And the renovation for the open house for the
After-
renovation,
Yes.
it attracted 250,000 visitors,
Right.
which is still a lot.
Yeah, I think it was only 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. April 28th to June 11th.
Oh wait, no,
So that's
longer than
like
that.
6 weeks.
Yeah. All right, never mind.
But that's so different from the
But
750,000.
they did delay it because this is right after COVID.
Yes.
The renovation did finish during 2020, and then they waited to do the open house.
Yeah, because they had to. Yeah.
Yeah. So that could be why they had fewer people, but also they did a lot of virtual tours that were available online.
Okay.
Of this temple when it was reopened.
That's cool.
With like Elder Stevenson and
that's fun.
Stuff. So that's cool.
My nephew was a missionary in Washington D.C. North Mission.
Nice.
And I think it was at the very end of his mission. It was. And so he got to help do some cleaning and stuff.
Cool.
And then he came home, and then him and his parents actually went back to do the open house.
Yeah.
Like not that long after he got home.
That makes sense.
Anyway, so.
Yep.
But so I asked my sister-in-law, Patty, how she felt, what she liked about it. And she pointed me to a painting and a website that talks about this artist's experience with this painting. And we'll put the link up because I think it's a really interesting article, because it'll give you an insight into what some of the artists go through when they're doing things for temples. Because there's a lot of artwork in the temples that is just so beautiful and moving. And so then you can just get an idea. It's not just a painting.
It's a big representation.
Yeah. And a lot of work. I think his name is Dan Wilson. To do this one piece of, there used to be a mural in the main lobby. Used to be a 30-foot long mural of the Second Coming. And so I guess they got rid of that and
replaced
it, yes. And so this Dan Wilson, they asked him to do a Second Coming mural or painting. And Patty said it really is a very beautiful painting. And it took him over 2,000 hours to do the painting. And he originally had 120 angels. There'll be a picture up on there, but it's Christ. He's kind of in the center looking sideways. And then there's a bunch of angels behind him. And originally he was going to do 120, and then he changed it to over 300 angels. Anyway, go read the article. It really is quite interesting, the process he had to go through to do this beautiful painting. And I'll just read a little bit of what he said. If I am painting the Savior for the temple, I just want to do him justice. He said, I'm intimidated every time. I spend a lot of mental prep work getting ready to paint. I get a Father's blessing. I include it in my fast. Then I do my best painting I can with the Lord's help. And the article, I could really resonate with a lot of the things he said, not because I'm an artist, but just in life lessons on how kind of to live your life. Like you sit there and you try to do your best. And when he starts thinking too much with his own brain, he doesn't get the right inspiration, and then he has to go and fix it. It's just really, go and read it. And also, like, he did it in his home, and he usually keeps his door locked so his 6 little kids can't get in there. But one day he did not lock it, and he went in there, and there was some orange paint on there. And it was so great. He wasn't mad at all. He's like, whoops.
Yeah.
And he fixed it up. And anyways.
Yeah.
There you go.
So is it also 30 feet wide? Or it's probably big.
No, I don't think so. No, it's not 30 feet wide. Like it's not a mural. It's probably a large painting. Yeah. I don't know how big it is.
Okay. We'll put up a link to this. Is it a video or an article?
It's an article.
Okay. Yeah, we'll share that.
It's not that long. And I'm not a big, huge reader, believe it or not, but I was really interested in
I think that's great.
What it was. So
I love to hear more about the process of how things are done. And
yeah.
Because
he uses like Photoshop, and then the process to get it approved and all that.
Yep. They did hire him so that there would be more international representation in the artwork in the temple.
Yes, so he had to get models, and he had to place the angels accordingly so that there isn't all one type of angel in one area. Anyways.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Are we ready for some stats?
I think so.
Okay.
I guess the Christmas time.
The Festival of Lights.
Yes. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
So there's other buildings on the property. There's like a stake center and the visitor center. And yeah, they have like concerts and a live nativity and other international nativities set up and all of it.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
To do the opening ceremonies of these lights, they invite a different ambassador to come and flip the switch.
Okay.
To give them that honor and to get them a little exposed to the church.
That's fun.
So the Chinese ambassador was very nice about the church, and they were like, oh, thank you. Can we come?
There you go.
So I think that's a very cool tradition that they have.
Yeah, and I think it just attracts more attention.
Yeah. And
they do such a good job because it is a really big missionary tool when they've got the visitor center there and just things for people to come and enjoy. So,
yeah. My friend that lives there says it does get crazy.
Like Salt Lake, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Okay, let's do some facts and stats.
Yep.
The announcement was made November 15th, 1968. The groundbreaking and site dedication was December 7th, 1968 by Hugh. That was dedicated November 19th through the 22nd, 1974 by Spencer W Kimball. And it was rededicated in August 14th, 2022 by Russell M. Nelson. There's some cute pictures of them in front of the temple when they're rededicating it. The site is 52 acres, which is a lot, but it's mostly woodlands. I wonder if there's paths and walking trails and stuff that you could adventure through. It has 6 spires with an Angel Moroni statue that makes it 288 feet. 6 instruction rooms. We didn't even talk about this. 10 feeding rooms and 1 baptistry. So it's as efficient as Provo and Ogden, but they just have fewer people there right now.
Okay, and did you get anything about the oxen?
No, I could barely get a picture.
Okay, so...
But this is at the stage, they're starting to realize, we need to, if we're going to do Moroni's, we need to simplify that process. Yeah. And I think the same thing with the oxen. We need to just do casts, do the same oxen everywhere. So I feel like they're, again, the Cardston ones. You think so?
Yeah, because I did
the
see...
same
reeds. Like between the oxen, there's those grass or reeds or whatever.
Yeah, so I do, that's interesting that you recognized it.
Yeah.
I do think they are going to start using casts just to make it a little easier, which makes it a little less interesting for us. But they use different materials and everything.
And also, they have an assembly hall.
Yeah, they have this giant assembly hall.
We almost missed this.
We didn't read anything about it.
No.
And it's not even, they should list assembly hall.
Yeah.
2,000 seats.
Yeah, it's huge.
Hall. It is really massive. And the pictures look AI. The pictures that we have of it look eerie. But why?
There is going to be a meeting in which that is going to be full to the brim.
Great. Can't wait.
Yeah. And it was for the dedication, but...
Well, because they didn't have a lot of extra buildings to do the dedication in.
Yeah.
Right? To do offsite.
Yeah.
Closed circuit.
But there is a purpose for these rooms. I'm sure of it.
It's going to be important. But yeah, it's gorgeous. And we have pictures of the inside now since the renovation, and it's really pretty.
Yeah.
Lots of white, lots of gold and green and yellow. I think it's very pretty. If I put up pictures where it looks pink, those are from before the renovation. Because it was pink. Not like bright pink, but it was like the accents were pink, which was interesting.
So maybe that was another big reason why they were renovating.
A little outdated. Yeah. But Betty Ford loved it. Okay, the square footage is 6,558 square feet, which is big. It's probably just behind Los Angeles.
Yep.
Yeah. And we talked about it's 288 feet high. Anything else, Janelle?
Just my last thoughts.
Yes, Janelle's final thoughts.
So the architect, Wilcox, I don't know his whole name, sorry. He explained that the church leaders intended the temple's design to inspire curiosity about the faith, seeing it as a beacon that glows with the spirit of enlightenment, inviting people toward truth and lasting happiness, One leader commented that the temple seems to float above the trees. And I think a lot of people say that too, emphasizing the visual impact and sense of elevation. And when I asked Patty what her thoughts were, she said the same thing. She said it takes your breath away when you're driving up to it. There are large trees along the highway that hide the surrounding area, but once you turn a corner, it's suddenly right in front of you, and it's spectacular. And it just invites people to want to know more about it. And so it's inviting, because it's like, whoa, I gotta know what this is.
I know. And I love that even though it's sacred inside, we still are like, please come and learn more about it. Please come and to the visitor center and talk to missionaries and find out what's going on in there.
So, and I am sure it's a little piece of peaceful, serene place in a place where
it's very busy.
It's very busy, and you might not feel that peace. And when you can go onto the temple grounds, you can feel that peace.
Yes. I imagine driving down the highway when it's rush hour, you don't feel very peaceful. And then there's a place just off the freeway that is very peaceful if you can stop. All right. Thank you all for being with us as we discuss the Washington D.C. temple. If you have more stories about this or another temple, please share it with us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at Every Temple Podcast. And if you learned something, please share this podcast with a friend. We are available on every podcast library that we know of. We will see you in the next episode where we talk about the Sao Paulo, Brazil temple, which I know nothing about.
Me neither.
We know nothing. So we'll see what happens.
Cool.
If you want to learn more about why we build temples and the role they play in our religion, please visit churchofjesuschrist.org/temples. We are not sponsored by or affiliated with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.